Hello everybody! I'm very excited for today's video. So, as most children, well, I don't know. I don't really know how it works these days because I do not have children, but when I was but a young child, we used to go trick-or-treating a lot. And now I know that, the culture has vaguely shifted. I know trunk-or-treating is very popular right now. I know, like, going to stores or shopping malls has become very popular to go trick-or-treating. But when I was a kid, we used to just go up and down the street all the time. And, you know, it was fun. We liked it. But I was reading something the other day, and it was a thread of people's favorite trick-or-treat memories. And that really got the gears kind of spinning and had me thinking of some of the standout moments from my many years of trick-or-treating. I will be perfectly honest with y'all, I trick-or-treated all through college because I lived in a college town, so why the heck not? People expected us to do this.
I will say, in defense of college kids trick-or-treating, there's so much worse they could be doing.
Oh yeah.
And
Like,
there's so much worse that a lot of people were doing.
Oh
so,
no, free candy. Who cares? Like, just... I'm not gonna judge. If you come to my door and you're wearing a vague semblance of a costume, or even not, if you come to my door and you say trick or treat, here you go, have some candy.
Yeah, you gotta say it though.
You gotta say it though. That is my only stipulation. Either say it or mime it or something like that. Let me know you're trick or treating and not just like, you know, selling magazine subscriptions door to door. But I digress. So the first memory that I want to start with is, I remember, and this isn't necessarily a trick or treat memory, but when I was in 5th grade, I dressed up as Molly from the American Girls, like American Girl dolls. And she had a Halloween costume that was basically a hula girl. And in the book, she had described how she made her hula skirt out of like crepe paper and all that. And we did that. And I think I might have a picture somewhere. If I do, I'll pop it in. But I remember the Halloween parade that year. And I remember walking around our school. And I remember being really angry because my mom made me wear jeans under my Halloween costume. And I remember just being real mad that I couldn't just wear the skirt. But then now that I realize, as an adult...
Your whole butt would have been out.
Exactly. My whole everything would have been exposed to the elements. Crepe paper doesn't cover anything. It's crepe paper. You get that wet, it starts to fall apart immediately. I feel like we probably could have changed that a little bit. Maybe like green leggings or something to go under. But I remember wearing really thick, heavy jeans and being grumpy the whole time. I actually have a video that I did last year about my Halloween costume retrospective, and I will link that one at the end of this because these two videos kind of go together hand in hand. But then my memories kind of start to get a little blurry. I don't really remember trick-or-treating much through like late elementary and middle school, but once I got to high school and we started to go trick-or-treating on our own, that's when I remember more things. The first of which being the egg story. So it was me and 2 of my friends. I will not name them for sake of anonymity. And we were trick-or-treating in a pretty local neighborhood. Like, this is an area that I would ride my bike to. It wasn't too far. I think my Girl Scout leader lived on that street. And we're walking around, and it's gotten kind of late. It's probably in like the 7:30, 8 o'clock hour. Just when around here it started to shift from like mostly little kids to older kids and delinquents. You know, the kids that should have been out the day before for mischief night throwing around TP and eggs and stuff like that. We were out and we were walking. We were a little bit further from home than we would have cared to have been. And all of a sudden I remember hearing noises. And there's like very few streetlights on this street. It's dark. We're in like medieval princess kind of costumes. And theirs were all like goth costumes. And I had mine was an old ballet costume we'd repurposed. And all of a sudden I see something whiz past us and just go splat. And I look down and there's somebody throwing eggs. And I'm like, we gotta get the heck out of here. So luckily, the person who was throwing eggs had terrible aim and did not actually hit us. But my friend V, I will say, they threw the egg right at her and she caught it in the long bell of her sleeve. So it landed unharmed in fabric. And she picked it up and she whipped it right back at them and it hit the guy. And he took off running. And I just remember us making our way back to my other friend's house and just being like, did that really happen? I don't think that actually happened, but it happened. Which brings us to the bathroom story. So this was my senior year of high school, and we had a rather large group amassed of friends who all got together because we were celebrating like the last Halloween before graduation, and we went trick-or-treating in our area because where we live, the houses are pretty close together. It's very easy to trick-or-treat around here. There's sidewalks for the most part. It's pretty well lit. And I think we had a group of like 8 people at this point. There were just a bunch of us walking around, and we obviously were older kids at this point. And I remember one door we went to, the person was rather incensed that kids this old were trick-or-treating, and she gave us like, I don't know, a single Hershey's Kiss. And this one girl that was in our group decided that this was unacceptable and very rude. So she decided to take matters into her own hands and relieve herself on this person's front lawn. And I had walked away by then because, like I said, there was a group of 8 of us, and I hear like people whispering and getting like, oh my god, I'm gonna start running, because she just decided to drop trow and go pee on this woman's lawn. And I just remember being mortified, like, why are you doing this? This is not going to solve any problem or get us any more candy. And we just took off running down the street after that. It was something that I remember, but not for good reasons, obviously. She took a long vacation in Australia for a long time, and I'm not exactly sure where she is at this point. I hope she's well. So the final Halloween memory I have is I'm a junior in college. And this is the seasonally inappropriate. So again, in college, there was probably a lot worse stuff we could have been doing than trick-or-treating. And the people in the area had gotten accustomed to the college students trick-or-treating. It was no big deal. A lot of people went trick-or-treating. We had a lot of candy. And this was my junior year of college, and a bunch of us got together. That year, I was a devil. And it was an interesting costume because it was a dress that I had gotten from the clearance section of the JCPenney's teen section. But I digress. That year, there was a group of probably about 6 to 8 of us that decided to go trick-or-treating. Yeah, so we were walking around our college town. And the people were very well, used to the college kids trick-or-treating. Nobody really cared. It wasn't an issue. Nobody ever gave us guff like the lady whose lawn got urinated on. So they were expecting it. We get to this one house, and it's a big old Victorian house with this giant wraparound porch and one light on it. Honestly, it was a little spooky. And they've got one little pumpkin bucket on the porch with a little post-it note on it that says, "Take one." So we're like, okay, this is a little eerie. We will take our one and then we will leave. And I'm looking around and there's like a bunch of stuff with like white wrappers. I'm like, okay, this doesn't really recognize like anything I know. So I'll just take one and move on. We'll check it. So we got back to the dorm that night and we had like this giant, we're all sitting on the floor and we dumped out our candy and we're going through everything. And I look at this white package and I'm like, it's a packet of M&Ms, but they're wearing bunny ears. I guess somebody had a whole bunch of leftover Easter candy that they decided to give out to the trick-or-treaters. I don't remember if they got eaten because I remember being very taken aback because I'm like, wow, this is old. But I think I've eaten much older candy at this point. But I just remember being so confused that there was like an Easter bunny on the M&M's package instead of like, you know, the spooky M&M's with the mummy wrappings or whatever it was. But long story short, I enjoyed trick-or-treating all through. I think the last year I went trick-or-treating, I was either 20 or 21. I didn't end up going my senior year of college. We lost the group that we were with, and I think they ditched us, and whatever, it's all good, it's the past now. But I highly encourage trick-or-treating, and I will support it. I give out full-size candy bars because I respect the children in my neighborhood. That being said, guys, I think that's going to do it for these Halloween memories. Hopefully it brought up fond memories for you that you can remember from when you went trick-or-treating as a child. And if you didn't, I apologize.
Question of the day, what is your favorite trick-or-treating memory? Leave that in the comments below.
Yes, I want to hear them if you've got them. And if you've had poor trick-or-treating memories, I hope you've been able to make better Halloween memories as an adult. So thank you so much for hanging out today. If you guys are interested in more Spooptober videos, you're in luck. I've got a whole bunch of them, and I will link some at the end of this video. My social media links are in the description below. If you'd like to stick around and see more from this channel, hit that little subscribe button. Witches and wizards, wherever they dwell, keep in touch with my channel by ringing that bell. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later!